Welcome to Yoga with Laurie. Today I'm going to work a little bit on nurturing yourself in these times where there's a lot of stress. I know many of us are feeling a lot of angst at this time to do with what's happening in the media, also what's happening in our lives, and there's a lot of insecurity around. One of the things that I've been very curious about and researching lately is the relationship between the way you breathe and the effect on the immune system, on the lymphatic system as well. And there's a couple of things that surprised me is that simply by breathing in certain ways, we can support the immune system. We can support the lymphatic system. So in today's small yoga class, I'm going to do some breathing techniques that you might want to follow along with, and some simple stretches. It'll be a short yoga class. I know many of us are busy, probably somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. So the first thing when we want to breathe properly and introduce more range of motion with the breathing, in other words, have a greater depth of breath, the first thing is our posture. Very, very important. With the posture, you want the belly exposed. You want it open. You don't want it closed down. So the belly and the ribs need to be opened up. So come into a comfortable seated position. You can sit on something that's a little taller. You can sit on a chair. But if you elevate the sit bones in relationship to the knees, you open up the front of the body. Then the second thing is, how's my posture? So the posture needs to be upright, preferably shoulders rolled back and down. Notice if you have the palms face up on the thighs, it opens up the chest a little more. Rock side to side, make sure you feel stable. And then maybe Rolodex the hips forward and backwards. And then find a position where the tailbone feels perpendicular to whatever you're sitting on. Close the eyes for a moment and make any adjustments so you still feel comfortable. You don't want to be distracted in the posture. You want to feel open, upright, and at the same time you don't want to be in discomfort. If you're in discomfort, simply make adjustments to help with the posture. Because discomfort over time can add to the stress levels, and that's obviously going contra, indicating to what we want to do. So with the immune system, it's dependent upon the nervous system as well being lined up. And the nervous system has many functions, but in many ways we can boil it down to sympathetic, which is the action state, fight and flight, busy state, which we kind of are all very familiar with. And because we're very familiar with that and we tend to stay in that state too much, it becomes deleterious over time. The cortisol in the body becomes so great that we're constantly in a state of stress, which is toxic to a human being over time. It creates a lot of deleterious implications. So we're trying to move into the state of the parasympathetic nervous state as much as possible. We do that when we sleep, when we rest, when we heal. So right now what we're trying to do is create that state to assist those systems. Sit up a little taller, shoulders roll back and down, close the eyes. And if you can, for now, just breathe in the nose, inhale through the nose, and you can exhale through the nose or pursed lips. So pay attention to that, all the sensations you feel. You might feel a breeze inside the nostrils. The air might feel cooler And as you exhale, try to slow each exhale down a little bit more. So you're going a little bit more gently with the exhale. Extending the exhale. And at the end of the exhale, gently draw the navel back towards the spine. So there's a little muscular contraction. Relax completely to inhale. Exhale, slowing the exhale down. Gently drawing the navel in. Squeezing empty. So by prolonging the exhale and having that gentle squeeze at the end can create a natural deeper inhale. And that's what we're after. A natural increase in the volume simply by the way we breathe. So creating this little muscular contraction at the end of the exhale, creating a little pump, the belly naturally expands on the inhale, drawing more air into the lungs. Now, if you're not used to controlling the breath through the diaphragmatic process like this might be challenging. So be patient, be persistent, and over time, this will become more and more natural. So we're trying to get the deeper parts of the lungs operating through this muscular exhale that's squeezing the abdominals, squeezing the pelvic floor, drawing the navel in. Then relax to inhale. The longer you exhale, the more you squeeze in, the deeper the inhale will naturally rebound. You don't have to worry about controlling the inhale. Just let that be a natural response to that extended exhale. Now, the other thing that researchers have found is that the immune system will be triggered if you hold the breath. If you simply hold the breath. Now, most of us know what it's like to hold the breath. So the next time you inhale, lift the hands above the head and hold the breath for 2 to 5 seconds. And then exhale, release. Gently drawing the navel back towards the spine. Continue to breathe. Exhaling, slowing the exhale down, drawing the navel in. Natural inhale. The next time you inhale, lift the hands above the head and hold the breath in for 2 to 5 seconds. If you want to hold longer, you can. As you hold the breath, gently squeeze the buttocks. Exhale, release. Let the breath simply become natural again. And then start to manage the breath again by slowing the exhale down and gently drawing the navel back towards the spine, creating that little muscular pump with the belly, with the abdominals. Let the inhale be natural and deeper. Once again, on the next inhale, lifting the arms above the head, bring the hands together above the head, hold the breath. You might want to hold it for a little longer this time if you're comfortable with that. If you're not, just hold it briefly and come back down. Exhale, release. Squeeze empty. Let the breath be natural for a few cycles. And then start to slow the exhale down. And as you slow the exhale down, punctuate the exhale with that little gentle contraction of the navel towards the spine. This is a very simple exercise that can be improved over time. On the next inhale, lift the hands above the head, hold. This is called breath retention in. This is the most common form of breath retention. Exhale, release. Take a few natural recovery breaths. No manipulation, no control. And then start to slow the exhale down, gently drawing the navel in. Squeeze empty. So we'll do one more breath retention like that. On the next inhale, lift the hands above the head. Hold. Exhale when you're ready. So over time, you can increase that inhale, that inner breath retention. Some people will hold it to a point of what's called a hunger to breathe or an urgency to breathe. So you manage it in terms of what feels right for you today. Now, the second more challenging breath retention is breath retention out. In other words, we breathe everything out and then pause before breathing in. So this will create a whole different experience. Now, the way that you do it is simply you take a deeper breath in and you exhale everything out till you feel that exhale out. You'll feel a kind of neutral or a slight amount of air still in the system. And then you pull the navel in, hold the navel in until you need to breathe. Close the eyes and allow the next few breaths to simply be natural. So this is a whole different experience. This one, if you're not used to it, often the nervous system will kick in with a little more urgency to breathe. So you want to take it easy on the breath retention out. Maybe hold for 1 or 2 seconds initially, and then over time, as you get used to the technique, you can add a little more time. So I'll demonstrate or I'll lead it with more breath retention out, but you simply stay with what you're comfortable with. Come into a comfortable seated position, shoulders roll back and down, back of the hands, palms face up. Start to deepen and lengthen the exhale. Draw the navel back. Inhale naturally. And I'll also add some sounds. I'm going to exhale through pursed lips as well so you can hear the sound. On the next exhale, hold the breath out. Squeeze the navel in. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Holding the breath out until you feel the need to breathe in. When you feel the need to breathe in, inhale deeply and release. Notice the sensations this is. So yogis over the centuries have used this as a meditative technique also to bring your attention inwards, to take your attention and your distraction of the outer world inwards, simply because of all the sensations this generates. So we'll take 2 or 3 more rounds of this. Come back to the natural breath. Start to slow the exhale down. Squeeze empty. Natural breath in, a little deeper. Exhale. Squeeze empty. So on the next exhale, we'll hold the breath out, breath retention out. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Squeeze empty. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And release. Just allow the breath cycle to naturally catch up. Feel the sensations. Notice if this is appropriate for you. If you're feeling uncertain or lightheaded, you can just come back to normal breathing at any time. So on the next cycle, we're going to combine the two exercises. We're going to do a breath retention out, holding out, and then the rebound, the inhale, the breath in is going to be inhale deeply and hold the breath in. So we're going to do 2 breath retentions, first external, then internal. Come back to the breath. Natural breathing cycles start to slow the exhale down. Squeeze empty so that the inhale becomes deeper. Take a deeper breath in. Now exhale everything. Hold the breath out. Squeeze empty. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath in. Exhale, release. Allow the natural breathing cycle to take back over. Keep the eyes closed. Notice the sensations and notice what's happening over time with this focus on the breath. So continued breath practice, dedicated breath practice, at least I'll speak from my own experience, has definitely helped manage my stress levels tremendously. And it's something that I'm convinced about personally, but there is a lot of research out there to show that different breathing techniques will change the state of the nervous system. The muscular action will also help the lymphatic nervous system move waste products from the immune system. So everything is created and centralized around the breathing and the respiratory system. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope it's something that you can do a few times a day, even if it's for 1 or 2 breaths. Come back to your breath. Deepen and slow down the breathing process. This is already helpful. And then practicing these breath retentions, sensibly of course, not to get to a state of panic, but to use them sensibly to deepen and strengthen the musculature around the lower lungs that work the breathing pattern, the diaphragm, the abdominals, and the pelvic floor. All right? And I think over time, if you do this on a regular basis, you will notice that you may notice that it helps with anxiety, stress, and the general way you go about your life. So thank you. Namaste.